area sitting in relationship to the bottom of my pelvis? Is it behind it? Is it in front of it? Is it over it? Is it a little bit to the left? Is it a little bit to the right? So we started the other day with taking your left arm forward with your thumb down and taking your right arm over the top of your left arm to interlace it. And just do that a few times and just really feel, does anything happen in my first rib as I do that? What happens in my shoulder blades? What happens? So as I do that, does my shoulder blade lift up? Does it go, if it has to turn in, does it lift up? Does it go down? What does it do? Where does my collarbone swing? Does it shift my weight on my pelvis at all? What does my first rib do? And then once you've got your left one out there and you're going to take your right one across, what does your right one do? To go over the top. And can you feel constantly, you're beginning, it's really lovely to see, that both shoulder blades have to be able to adapt every moment. And that's going to be due to the ability to shift your weight, to soften your breathing, to feel this first rib, and to really soften your intention. So now once you're there, could you bring your hands back through? Toward which shoulder is going to be easier to bring your hands back toward? It's going to be your right shoulder or your left shoulder as you bring them back toward you. So right arm's on top. Which shoulder? Would your hands... And again, to get this, you need to lessen the effort. Which shoulder? And of course you can go to either, but there is one that you will get to easier. Is it that one? I'll leave that open. I'll leave that as an open question. Is it your left shoulder? And so you're just feeling at the moment where it might go. And then, remember what we did then, that you could take your arms and then take them all the way through. Just straighten them out again. Again, keep your fingers soft and feel what has to happen in your elbows, in your wrists, in your forearms. How soft your fingers have to stay in their interlacing. And again, at any moment, if you feel the interlacing, just let it go a little bit. Just let it soften off a little bit. Let your fingers soften, your wrists soften. And do you keep taking your arms always in the same trajectory as you straighten them out? Or would it go straight forward? Or if you really followed what your arms want to do, where might your hands head off to? So do you have an idea that Julie said, take my arms forward, so they just have to go straight forward? Or can I feel through myself to feel where would my arms go as they go forward? Would they go forward and down a little bit, or forward and up a little bit, or forward to the left, forward to the right? Is there something about this particular way of having your right arm on top that is going to influence where your arms want to straighten to. So how do you follow your flow? How do you follow your skeleton and not impose on it an idea about where you think you should be going? Okay, so then if you start off out the front again and you bring your arms through again, still with the right arm on top. And remember, we did something first about taking the right elbow through the left elbow. So through the gap on top. And remember, Amanda said something beautiful this morning when she said, my pelvis could help me out here. So what direction does your right elbow have to go in to make that easy? If your right elbow is going through your left, where would your right elbow go if it's going through your left? Would there be a particular way you'd turn your torso maybe, or your pelvis? So again, we're really exploring here. What we're after is you finding all these different shapes through your torso. So how clear and soft can your intention be? Where does your right elbow need to go to get through? What are your shoulder blades doing? Are they still free to shrug? What height do you want your elbows that might make this easier? Some of you are really getting very flexed down here. Some of you, maybe if you go up really high, it might help. Again, how do you explore options? What is it that we get stuck in our way of doing it? So where could those elbows go? There's no constraint on where you move your arms. And then change it instead to taking the left elbow underneath the right. So now, how are you going to orient your left elbow to go underneath your right? Your left elbow now. Would you turn a different way maybe to take your left elbow under your right? And what does your wrist have to do to allow your hands to come through? Okay, so one of the things I'm just going to suggest is the wrist, this wrist, the right wrist, do you want it extended to try and get it through? Or do you want it to flex to try and get it through? And where would your hands maybe go? Which shoulder are they going to head toward? Is there again something about which shoulder your hands are going to head toward, whether you're taking your left elbow underneath your right or your right elbow underneath your left? Okay, pause a moment. Each of you at the moment feel, where am I struggling? What part of me do I keep feeling efforting? And of course it's all of you. It's your brain that's efforting. But is there a particular place in yourself that you keep thinking, oh, I know I'm tightening there, but I just keep going a little bit further. I know I am. But, you know, maybe it's just because it's stiff. And I just have to get through it a little bit. Okay. So you all know where that is on yourself. Is anyone who doesn't know where that is on yourself? Okay. So could now, so again, get a partner near you. So everyone just get a partner. And what we're simply going to do a little ATM teaching thing here, but you're not going to do a lot. So one of you is going to observe the other one, and you're going to be thinking